And away we go. We are recording. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Scentsational Speed Oilers Diamond Bound Gold Nuggets. Maureen and Ginny and Sara and I had the amazing opportunity of heading down to Nashville, Tennessee, and seeing this fantastic event. So Diamond Bound was 5,000 members from around the world gathering to talk about what we thought was the real business, like all the details, right, of young living. But it wasn't, I think, what a lot of us expected. You know, I think that it was that and more. She called it grit and grace. And this is what Jordan Schrant, the creator of the event, said. This event has been prayed over, planned, and knit together for one purpose: growth in you, growth in your life, your mind, your heart, your soul, and your skills. And we've heard this time and time again, that being an entrepreneur requires personal development. And you have to be willing to take a hard look at the way you look at life, how you speak your words, how you present yourself to the world through your words, through your action, through your appearance, through your mindset. So she started off Friday night with a phenomenal presentation that Sara is going to tell us about. It was about scarcity versus abundance mindset. So let's hear it, Sara.
Okay, yes, it was a powerful event, the whole thing, and Friday night was really set the whole tone. So Jordan talked about how there are two mindsets: abundance mindset, which springs from the energy of love, and scarcity mindset, which springs from the energy of fear. Scarcity mindset is the belief or fear that there will never be enough. Money, food, emotional support, things that we feel we need, there's never enough. In scarcity mindset, your actions and thoughts stem from a place of lack. So Jordan spoke of taking care of others in our business, taking care of others without a scarcity mindset, to focus on them. What are their needs? What solutions can you offer? How can you serve them? She spoke of how we reap what we sow. So we need to sow seeds of life, love, service, and ask, how can I serve you? How can I meet your needs? Selflessly speaking the truth and love with reckless abandon. This is grace. So we do this over and over. Love them, fill them up, respond, serve, show up consistently to meet their needs, encourage them, and do it over and over. So this is our purpose. This is your purpose. Purpose over profit, she mentioned. That's Gary's way. So we need to get out of our comfort zones and do for others. So her words, her message was very powerful, and I agree 100%. This is our purpose, to serve. But I think we must first do this for ourselves, because we can't give what we don't have. So how do we do this? With daily self-care, with personal growth. So daily, focusing on feeding your heart and soul. Sow seeds of life, love, and service. Speak truth and love to your heart and soul with reckless abandon. Show up for yourself. So I just would like everybody to take a moment and stop right now. Grab your oil, whether it's joy, frankincense, whatever speaks to your heart. Open it up. Take a couple drops in your hand. I'm opening abundance. I want to stay in that abundant mindset. So close your eyes. Breathe. Breathe in that goodness. God in a bottle, right? Open your heart. Allow yourself to receive Open your heart to receive. Receive love, peace, joy, abundance. Speak lovingly to yourself. Show up for yourself. Offer yourself words of appreciation. And know that you have a powerful, valuable message to share. Honor this truth. Your voice, your message, your story, your contribution is important and needed. Imagine yourself being bathed in a light of love, gratitude, and abundance. Take a moment to just smile, relax, and another deep breath. As we create a loving and positive mindset for you. So we need to daily cultivate these seeds within ourselves from this place of love and abundance so that we can spread this positive mentality to friends, family, your team, and to everyone you speak with. So how do we do this? Through personal growth, through daily practice. So daily, carve out 5 or 10 minutes, more if you're really busy. Set a timer.
I love that.
I love that.
I love that. So true.
That's so
So true.
Everybody should meditate for 5 to 10 minutes. If you're really busy, meditate for an hour. So set a timer, 5 or 10. I mean, that's progress for most of us. 5 or 10 minutes. Set a timer so you don't have to keep checking the time. Put your phone out of reach and turn off the ringer. And spend this time on reflection. Meditate, pray, journal, whatever works for you. But give yourself that moment, those minutes to just clear your head, clear your mind. That's where ideas flourish. That's where messages, important messages, divine guidance can come in then. But we have to give ourselves that time. So learn to acknowledge and appreciate all the positives in your life. Gratitude is a powerful aspect of an abundant mindset. A grateful heart is at the center of an abundant life. An oil I love to use is gratitude essential oil. You might want to use that when you meditate. Frankincense is good. Abundance is also great. Create a gratitude journal. Write in it daily. 10 things each day that you are grateful for. Create an abundant mindset by training your mind to focus on the positive, the gifts, the blessings in your life right now. And you can start with Young Living. Yeah. Offer words of appreciation for your work, your gifts, your talents, your contribution. And when you focus on that, you can then offer these words to others. Let them know that they matter to you, their work, their talents and gifts, their contributions, their message, their voice, their story. It matters. Your influence and happiness will increase in direct proportion to the appreciation that you show others.
Love that.
So, watch what you say. Notice the language you use. What do you tell yourself and others? Because your words shape your reality. Your thoughts shape your reality. Are you telling yourself and others stories of abundance or lack? Rather than talk about things you don't have, engage in conversations about the abundance of things that you do have. Focus on what is going well. Attention equals power. Give power to the positive in your life. When you notice that you're talking about something you can't have, can't do, you want to be, you want to do, stop yourself. Wanting creates the energy, the reality of want or lack, which equals scarcity. Change your thoughts and words to what is possible. Like the book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz states, be impeccable with your words. Before you speak, ask yourself these 4 questions. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? And is it helpful? Ask yourself if what you're going to say is true, kind, necessary, helpful? If the answer is no, maybe what you are about to say should be left unsaid. So close your eyes again and just listen as I say these phrases. And notice how each of these phrases make you feel physically, mentally, emotionally. Notice any shifts in your body. This is hard work. It's too hard. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough money. I'm struggling. The struggle is real. I'll have to go without. I can't afford that. I'm exhausted. I'm so busy. I'm so tired. So now let's listen to how this can be shifted to words of abundance. And notice how these words, phrases make you feel. I love a challenge. I enjoy my work. I can handle this. I can always make more money. I always have more than enough. I can do this. My mind is powerful. I make sure to get lots of rest. I make sure to take good care of myself. I am open to receive. Abundance flows to me with grace and ease. I am richly blessed. Notice there was a little shift. It's normal to have negative thoughts from time to time. When they come, notice them and then let them go. Do not allow these thoughts to manifest into words that you tell yourself or anyone else. When we all face challenges and obstacles, but we have a choice. We choose to see the opportunity. The next time you or your team is faced with an obstacle, flip it around and find the opportunity. Face the challenge with optimism and make sure your team sees you modeling that attitude. An oil or item is out of stock. In Young Living, that's because they're natural. Synthetic products never go out of stock. They have that blessing. And another thing that's really important is carefully select the company you keep. Mindsets are contagious. Limit your time with negative, the glass is half empty people, the constant complainers, the ones who focus on what's not going well, the ones that focus on how hard everything is. Carefully select the company you keep. Coach and speaker Steve Maraboli says, those with a grateful mindset tend to see the message in the mess. And even though life may knock them down, the grateful find reason, even if small ones, to get up. Tony Robbins says, when you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears. So give more of what you want to yourself and others. Although it may sound counterintuitive, one of the best ways to increase your abundance is to give. Don't feel like you have enough time? Take an hour to help someone in need. Don't feel like you have enough money? Give to someone less fortunate. Be a river, not a reservoir. So giving is sure to put you in a more abundant and appreciative frame of mind. So what I've noticed over the years, and especially at Diamond Bound, every diamond, crown diamond, royal crown diamond, tells us there are no secrets or tricks. Success is all about personal development. Cultivate this abundance mentality in yourself and then share it with others. Bless yourself. Bless them. Fill yourself with love and then love on them. This is personal development. We always have a choice. We can choose fear and scarcity mentality, or we can choose love and abundance mentality. Always choose love. So that's what I got from Jordan.
That was such a good message, Sara. And I couldn't help but think about, sometimes to switch that mindset can be challenging. And I was thinking about how we are so lucky that we have oils like acceptance and forgiveness and gratitude. So when it's a little bit of a challenge to send that person love, well, then maybe we need to use a little acceptance essential oil. If we're feeling like, they've burned me before, how about forgiveness? How about when we're finding a challenge to be grateful for the things that we might perceive in the moment as being negative, you know what? They could be just a blessing in disguise. So how about we grab gratitude oil? We're so lucky in that. And you were saying to give when you feel like you have nothing to give. I remember years ago, one of the Royal Crown Diamonds, who is a friend of mine, said everything shifted for her in her financial status when she started giving. And that's when our family, like we go through rough times sometimes financially, we all do, but I was like, we need to sponsor a child down in Ecuador. And and that's why I love the fact that all of us are now supporting a child in Ecuador, even though it may not be something that comes naturally to us, but that we all have that opportunity to tap into that abundance mentality as a team. So I loved everything you said, Sara. I'm so glad that was your gold nugget from the event.
Truly was. Good reminder.
Yeah,
Daily.
great reminders.
Daily work. Yeah.
Thank you for those tips on how to bring that into our life every day. So now that we are in that, believing in that abundance, that right positive mindset, let's go forward into sharing the old-fashioned way-ish and tapping into your passion. So back in the late winter, early spring, Shannon Hudson, who is a diamond in Young Living, had a video call, and she really promoted it about sharing and how things were going to change. And I know many of us listened to that. I know Ginny definitely did. Did you, Maureen and Sara, also listen to Shannon Hudson?
I did.
Part of it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was long, and it was a multi-series presentation. But she talked about how the face of sharing was changing, and that Young Living Legal had been working with the FDA, and she added something very easy to remember, that when you're sharing your story and when you're telling people about Young Living, tell all the parts and pieces. If it was more than just the simple use of an oil, talk about that. If you rested, talk about it. If you drank a lot of water, talk about it. If you took supplements too, talk about it. If you went to a chiropractor or did acupuncture or whatever you were doing to help facilitate whatever change had happened, essential oils could very well be the catalyst of it. But talk about all the parts and pieces and tell your story. So that was in the spring, late winter, early spring. And then at convention, Mary stood on stage and told Gary's entire story. And then each of the corporate executives told their stories. And that trend began. They talked about why they were drawn to Young Living. And granted, it wasn't a sharing Young Living story, but all of their stories is a part of our story because we are Young Living, right? So, Sara Bjorngard was up there talking about how her father, now she's the general manager of Young Living USA. Her father was a farmer, and she was into the farming. As a family, everybody did their part on the farm. And I thought that that was so fascinating how it had come full circle for her, even though she had gone to college and gotten into business and all that. And so we started hearing everyone's stories. Matt French, who is the head of legal, took it a little bit farther when we were at convention, and he told a story about how his sister-in-law had used essential oils to manage her blood sugar. And we're all sitting there going, well, what? Did he just say blood sugar? We're not allowed to say that, but wait a second. He's the director of legal. Oh my gosh, are we allowed to say that? And it was a little bit vague. And then it was, oh yeah, use ocotea for blood sugar. And I think he mentioned like nutmeg and another oil, and I can't find my notes on it. I was in such shock. I didn't take a picture of notes. We were all going, what, our jaws were dropping. We're like, how is this changing? And then that was all they said. Tell your seed to seal story. And we were like, I don't get it. You know, so I was talking to Irvin Bishop Jr., who's head of IT, and he said, oh yeah, this, you know, there's going to be a brochure. Well, the brochure isn't here yet. And, you know, I was like, all right, well, do we jump in? Like, how do we navigate this? So we kind of waited. And so when we were at Diamond Bound, Mary Young told the story about her life for the first time. Now, I heard that she had done it on a cruise, but it was the first time in front of the masses that she talked about her story. And it was incredibly moving. I documented it in a post on the WPA Way. So if you want to read what I wrote, just type in hashtag Mary's story and it will come up. But she told us about her childhood and her path from being an opera singer in Vienna to moving to South America to help her father and her family save her father's gold mine investment, to how she met Gary and how they started Young Living together. And then she started to talk about how she was using oils. Like that she used lemongrass and eucalyptus radiata with V6 around her eyes. We were like, I turned to Maureen, I'm like, did she just give us a protocol for wrinkles or eye health or what was that? And then she started sharing her morning protocol, what oils she used in the morning, what oils she used in the evening, what she did as like her go-to oils. She shared how she used on her, what she used on her skin, and how she made frankincense water and drank it every morning. We're like, what is happening, right? Were we all looking at each other like, is this like, are we in a time machine? What's going on here? And then how she uses myrrh, even though it smells like dirty socks, in a dropper in the back of her throat to help her vocal cords. And we're like, did she just say that? Like, we were all like, I think I feel a change coming. And then she said that she used oregano on a thing that was growing on her eyelid and it fell off. And we're like, we haven't had protocols in years for things. And then Joseph, their youngest, came out and he told his story about how Mary used oregano on a wart every day for 30 days and the wart fell off. So if you have a wart, use oregano oil on it. And like, I don't know about you guys, but I was like tingling and I started tearing up and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, is it, okay, so then, not done. And then Mary spoke about how Joseph had always had trouble focusing. And if any of you remember Joseph, he was like a little jumping bean. Whenever there was a convention or a meeting, he was all over the place. And that she and Gary got him playing chess. And apparently he was very good and won, you know, all kinds of awards. And they had a master from like Yugoslavia, working with him, something like that, and studying with a master, and that, you know, even though now he's totally like a deep into, you know, teenager young man stage, he's like kind of not wanting to do it, but Mary's like, listen, you know, Gary, you know, I always felt that it would help his focus as well as his strategizing skills. And then she played a video of Gary talking about why he made present time for focus. So I'm thinking about all these things that were happening. Shannon Hudson, convention, Mary at Diamond Bound. And I'm thinking, well, you know, they say they're coming out with a brochure. And I'm like, we don't need no stinking brochure. We just got permission from the founder of our company to start telling our stories, but to tell all the parts and pieces. It wasn't just present time that helped Joseph with his focusing skills. It was the fact that, you know, he's doing things like playing chess that helps him get his mind and his thoughts focused on something. It's about telling all the parts and pieces. So, I mean, I've always talked about the pendulum, right? And the pendulum swinging from all, you know, natural, only having natural herbs and oils and poultices to take care of our bodies, you know, into the pharmaceutical age, that pendulum swung. And then it was like, oh, well, maybe we have something else. God-given, trust me, I would not want to have had surgery without pharmaceuticals, but I'll tell you, that pendulum kept swinging, right? And we started seeing all those commercials like 10 years ago about all the side effects of what pharmaceuticals were doing for us, and how, you know, it was, you know, you might take it for a rash, but, you know, you might grow a third nipple or something, whatever, it happens, right, if you use this, but like crazy stuff, these side effects. And people started realizing, you know, gosh, maybe there's a better way. I don't need 3. So, you know, it's the pendulum started swinging back, right, towards natural things. And so the escalation of essential oils and people turning to them started to grow, and people started taking liberty. You all remember when the FDA letter came out. Maybe you don't, maybe you're new to Young Living, but a letter came out that basically said we were only allowed to talk about essential oils from above the wellness line, keeping a healthy body healthy, not about how an unhealthy body can be helped with essential oils. Because somebody out there decided that they were going to post that they should use thieves for Ebola. Now, if you know, that's bold. That's medical claims, and that is too far, right? Because not everybody understood that all essential oils weren't the same. So the FDA was just like, you know, like, I understand the whole FDA thing, but I think for many of us in the room, and maybe many of you out there watching this video, it was like we were gagged and bound, because we could no longer share and help people the way we had before. Many of us found ways and continued to share and learned how to share properly, but I know that there's a lot of you here today that just clammed up because we loved Young Living, and we taught our team to only speak with integrity so that we can keep our company's doors open, right?
Yep.
Sure did.
Yeah. And so we took it seriously. And what I really love is that by being able now, working with the FDA, being able to tell all the parts and pieces of our story, we are allowed to share once again. And that is like such a joyous occasion. What I want you to do now, though, I want you to grab some release oil. If you guys have your release oil here, I want you to grab that. And I want you to take that, and I want you to drip that into your hand. And I want you to breathe this deeply, because there was a lot of heartache associated with that FDA letter coming. I remember pulling up my website when I finally got my own letter that I had 5 days to remove all of the things that were no longer compliant. I cried as I deleted post after post after post from my Facebook page, from my website, because I thought people aren't going to be helped. And so take that release and release it. Let it go, because the pendulum has swung back. Let's just take a deep breath of that release oil. Because those days are gone. And now I would like you to grab some joy. And I would like you to take that joy, and I want you to put a little bit in your palm, maybe rub a little bit over your heart, and just breathe in the joy of change. Woohoo! Mary told us that that no one is going to tell her that what she can and cannot say to a friend on a couch. And this is what she's kind of said all along, that privately how we share is crucial. And she even joked, she said, don't play doctor from the stage. She was so sassy that day. But honestly, it really is. It's knowing, don't you dare stay, even on your couch, say use Ebola for thieves. Don't diagnose. Don't be that person who takes it to the extreme. But rather keep your focus on them, right? Keep your focus on listening to what people are asking you, what people are telling you. Listen to their story before you tell your story.
Right.
Make sure that you share with them the EDR. I'm coming back. Ooh, it's heavy to grab with one arm. Oops.
Yeah, be careful.
Did I unplug my computer? Share with them the EDR, whether it's here or whether it's the pocket desk reference, or whether you have gotten it on your phone. I have an app where I keep my life science publishers pocket reference so that I always have on the ready how I can help people. That is your book of how. This is your book of why. This is Gary's story. This is your why. This is a part of you and a part of your story. So Mary also said, make sure that you send them to the EDR and don't send them to go Google something. You may inadvertently be sending them to synthetic products or incorrect information. Read the books that are sold through life science publishers. They are the true stories. So I don't know if you've had a chance to take a look at life science publishers lately, but there are tons and tons of books. Jared Turner, Joanne Kahn, Krista Smith, like all of these people who have been with Young Living, they're diamonds, crown diamonds, royal crown diamonds, and some of them even aren't, but they tell their stories in a way that not only we can learn their stories, but that we can help others. These are the people that are writing about what they've experienced and are sharing their knowledge with us. And then at Diamond Bound, Jared Turner told us, your story is your superpower. And I really, really love that, because we can be those out there helping people. He reminded us that everything is a story. So when we share about Young Living and we tell our story, what we're trying to do is tell someone about an event that's made you feel a particular way to make them act, right? So when we're telling our stories, make sure that they are true, make sure that they are compelling so that people can understand and get caught up in that. We can tell our stories about our personal experiences, stories about members. So there was a woman who stood up and she said that she was a teacher and that she wasn't allowed to diffuse, but that she put the essential oils on herself and she became the human diffuser to help the children around her. Ginny, can you relate to that? Yeah. Oh, are you muted?
There we go. I just wanted to unmute myself. I had got visitors in the other part of the house. Anyway, yes, I absolutely can relate. I've done that at school myself many times, and to the point where I would choose my oils for the day depending on which students I'd be working closely with that day, and that would doing some antecedent behavior changes. So what
Right,
that means, right? So things would set up well from the beginning, so it wasn't reactive; it was proactive. So
right. So how many people know teachers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that we can share that story with. So we're tapping into our personal stories. We're tapping into the stories of others and the stories about the signature people in the history of Young Living, like Gary Young. Think about his rags to riches stories, and stories about unexpected, unsung heroes are very powerful. And it's important to realize that Young Living's story is our story, and we can weave it into our story, because when we start talking about helping others and the difference between, you know, this bottle of oil versus what they're going to find at Bed Bath and Beyond, let's say, you know, they've got great pillows, but you know, when it comes to oils, there's a difference. So we can talk about how Gary smuggled those seeds in his boots and brought them to the United States and started the essential oil movement in the United States so that there could be a difference. And all these copycats and all these losers that are just trying to make money off of the use of essential oils are all garbage, right? It all comes down to that. And we can tell his story and make it a part of our story so that it's compelling and people are like, he put seeds where? And he started the movement with lavender. I love lavender. You know, it's getting people to say, me too. And not in the movement that started a couple years ago, but in the simple person-to-person contact, me too. So what I want to do is now grab Live Your Passion oil, and I just want to go around this little room a little bit and talk about your story, your compelling story with all the parts and pieces. So I'm grabbing a little bit of oil, not that I need it because I get all worked up when I talk about these. But I'll tell you, years ago, my son Kenny was all excited to get down to the beach after a vacation, and he rode his bike out of our driveway. There was an obstructed view, and our neighbor who was driving down the road, slowly mind you, but still fast enough, hit Kenny with the car. And Kenny's bike went underneath the car, and Kenny went onto the hood, onto the windshield, and over the car in front of my husband and his twin, Luke. And I wasn't home at the time. And, you know, needless to say, it was quite a critical scene here. And they took Kenny and they put Kenny on a neighbor's lawn, and they called the ambulance, and Bill called me and said, you know, I just want to let you know everything's okay, but the ambulance is on his way. Kenny's been hit by a car. And I said, grab the Valor, because I had just gone to an event where I learned about how Valor was wonderful for physical trauma. And I said, take that Valor and pop that top off of that Valor and pour that Valor on that child. And so he did. And he's, at the time, Kenny was bruising. His, bruises were going up and down his leg where he was hit, and he had holes in his leg where the spikes of the bike had dug into him. And Bill said before his eyes, the bruising started pulling back to where the impact took place. The bleeding from all the holes in his leg stopped. And before his very eyes, he was finally a believer. He finally saw exactly what the power of these essential oils could do. And so, yes, Kenny went to the hospital. Yes, he was seen by a doctor. He had x-rays. He was stitched up. He came home. He rested. We continued with Valor. We continued with Peace and Calming. We continued with lavender for his bruises. But Kenny healed in a very, very short amount of time. And that's the power of essential oils. And I'm so happy I can tell this story again, because I know for years I told that story when we were allowed, and people came to me and said, my son fell, my daughter fell, I fell. And I remembered your story. And I feel so happy to tell it again. So let's hear your stories.
It's always such a blessing when you're like realize again, like, wow, oh, these oils are right.
Yeah.
I can share mine if you want.
I would love it, Maureen.
I'm ready. Mine's quite different. So I don't know, a day was going by. I was with friends, visiting, traveling. A lot of things were happening that day. But by the end of the day, something had happened during the day that was upsetting me. Something had happened with one of my friends. And I didn't even realize how much it bothered me until later that day. And I realized I had like this ache, this pit down in my stomach. And I know that sometimes feelings hurt. I've had trauma and feelings hurt that way. But it took me a few hours and practically till the next morning to realize this was not leaving me. And I knew exactly what it was. I couldn't get over this feeling I had. I was feeling a little bit angry, a little bit upset, and a little bit abused, I guess, verbally, and by what happened. And it felt stupid to me. I'm like, oh, I'm over it. I'm over it. It's really not a big deal. I'm over it. But I wasn't over it. I was carrying this around. Well, it just so happened later that day, I was involved with something I'd never done before, which was using the emotional oils from Young Living in a protocol. And it was from the Feelings Kit. And somebody was helping doing this walk through using these oils with a meditative kind of stance. And so not only was I praying, because I had been praying on and off about this, saying, get rid of this. I'm done with it.
Oops.
Where'd you go?
Lost Maureen?
We're on the edge of our seat, Maureen.
You're
It's
leaving
like
us
in The Murderer Is.
Left us hanging.
I'm here. Can you see,
Oh, okay.
Can you see me?
Woo, talk
Sorry.
about it. It's like the end of a series on TV, like the last season where they pull you into the next one. Maureen, what
I'm
happened?
so sorry. The phone went into ringing. I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
This is why I don't like to use my phone on this. I'd rather be on the computer. Anyway, sorry about that.
To the edge of the seat.
So I've been praying on and off. I have been thinking about this. What's wrong? I got over this. Why is this still bothering me? That was part of what was going on. I was working on it mentally and emotionally. I was working on this at the same time. I'm going, oh, let it go. This is so silly. So here I am using these emotional oils for the first time in this manner, and not even knowing what oils I was using, because we were doing it in a way where I was my eyes were closed and just breathing them in. And while we were doing this, it was with intention. So you were supposed to be thinking about something you were working on. Okay, so keep that in mind. And I would say about halfway through, and it was dramatic, I felt this pain lift. And I felt it lift in such a way that in this quiet room of a handful of people, I wanted to start jumping up and down and going, oh, this is what happened to me. This is what happened to me. But I couldn't, and I wouldn't. But that is how dramatic it was. I literally felt it lift. And I don't know all the reasons why, but I do know I was using a few oils with intention right then. And I could tell about which oil it was and so forth. So later in the day, I did discover that from the Feelings kit, I had just used several of the oils, and one of them I had just used was forgiveness. So for me, this may not sound like such a big deal, but I had been using Young Living essential oils now for several years. I love the oils. I use them for everything. But I had never had a profound moment. And this was a profound moment for me. So I never forgot it. And it also opened my eyes to the possibilities of these oils and all the things they can really do. So just keep that in mind.
That's great, Maureen.
It can really change your life.
Thank you. Thank you for that story.
You're welcome.
All right, Ginny, Sara.
I have a short one, a little lighter note, although no less traumatic for the person it was affecting. I was at a picnic, and I knew that purification was really helpful to keep those pests away, so to speak. So
You can say what they are. What pests?
Bugs.
Bugs.
Mosquitoes.
Okay, keeping bugs away. All right, say it, Sara. Woo!
That's truth.
So anyway, I had it right with me in my pocket, and all of a sudden, my girlfriend's grandson came screaming over to her. She was sitting next to me. He'd just been stung twice, 2 times with a bee. And if you've ever gotten stung, if you've gotten stung recently, you're reminded of how much that hurts. This poor kid was beside himself. I had my oil. I immediately put purification on each of those stings, and it was amazing. I was glad other people witnessed this with me. Within 10, 15, 20 seconds, I literally saw his face transform from screaming hysterically to stop crying to like just kind of perking up. And within a minute, he hopped off of his grandmother's lap and was back to playing. I mean, it was that dramatic.
That's
just
awesome.
blew me away, and it blew everybody else there away too. So that just spoke volumes to the power of these oils.
That's odd. That's a great story.
It was really dramatic. How quickly it happened too. And I've used it on like mosquito bites. It takes the itch away, the sting away. So
that's awesome.
Don't leave without your purification.
Nice.
There you go. All right, Ginny, let's hear your story.
Okay, I've got one quick story that happened recently. And a friend of mine was over, and she was experiencing all of a sudden some severe sinus issues. And she was having trouble, breathing through her nose, and she was all kind of feeling congested up in here. And she said to me, "Do you have anything that'll help relieve any of the sinus issues?" And I said, "Yes, I do." So I pulled what did I have close? I had peppermint and I had frankincense. So I grabbed the 2 of them, and I took the frankincense and just applied it all here and down her jawline, and then down her neck a little bit as I was praying for her, just healing in Jesus' name. I repeated it a few times as I put that on. And then I took the peppermint because I didn't want her to get it in her eye or too close, but I wanted it, in this area. I rubbed a little bit here, just like this. And probably within the minute, she looked at me and she said, "I feel better." I said, "Oh, good." And then a few minutes later, she said to me, there's no pain. I can breathe and I feel great. I said, yep, that's what I expected would happen. She's like, this is terrific. So it was so wonderful. And it really, this was just a couple days ago in my kitchen. It felt so good to be able to just bring such an easy, safe, peaceful way for her to be done with it, with her sinus stuff. So, yep, we were really, really happy. And again, just another testament to how wonderful the things that we have on this earth can be for us.
It's awesome.
Too good not to share.
It is
Yeah.
good to share.
Yeah.
Oh, it's to our friends and family to share this.
Yep.
That's right. And, are we going to be blasting these stories on social media when we're, like we can share on social media, but be conscious of how you're sharing. Be conscious of why you're sharing, right? Because it all matters. And so while one-on-one is such a powerful medium to share, we can share bigger. We do have that ability. And I know that Ginny had a really powerful, she felt really, really connected to Jordan's mother because she did Healthy Homes, Business and Balance. She did this beautiful presentation. And so Ginny's passion is family. 6 kids. How many grandchildren? 140 grandchildren.
Six. I think she said 6.
Oh, she said 6. Okay. But it's you okay?
Yeah. I'm
It tipped over. So Ginny often shares about how to help families using essential oils. So Ginny's going to share with us the highlights of the presentation that her that Jordan Schrant's mom did. So thank you, Ginny. And Ginny disappears. What the heck?
gotta laugh. Oh my God.
That's funny.
Changed her mind.
She got scared.
She changed her mind.
You really disappeared.
Yeah, it wasn't like she fell.
Wow.
Computer fell
It
off.
says she's still
Yeah.
there. My screen says +3 more, so she must be
Oh,
connected somehow.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Oh, still connecting. She just sent me a text.
Okay.
All right. So, maybe I don't want to pause the recording because God forbid we should
Yeah.
end up I don't like to pause because pausing isn't good. Yay, she's back.
She's almost back. There she is.
That timing was hysterical. All right, Ginny, take it away.
Here we go. The dramatic entrance. Yes, I fell on that. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. Anyway, I really did connect with this woman. Her name is Krista Hames, and I just really connect. There was a heart connection right away as she began to share. And she opened speaking about speaking life over your body, speaking life over your family. And when executed well, it will make your life more wonderful. Happy homes and a healthy, happy, young living business. And she said, not only do we speak life, but we have the opportunity to use our very amazing products. So she said, while you're doing that, let's grab some Envision, because we're speaking life and we're just seeing all that God has for us and all the places that we're going in that healthy, happy way. I'm making my own words up. I love that. So, exactly. And then also with the abundance too. And when we speak life, let's just make sure we're doing that positively, and let's just bring that up another notch. Use that abundance, Anyway, so that was, I just resonated with that. And she did explain that she's been helping out with Jordan's children and she loves building life and speaking life into her grandchildren. And how wonderful it is that we can do that intentionally using these oils that magnify what we're doing. And she said that she uses as her guidebook the Bible, which resonates with me. And she said when she needs answers and she has questions, that's where she goes. And I remember Gary saying that he would go up into the mountains and speak to the Father. He said, because where else would I go for my help? And I'm so happy to be aligned with people and a company that speaks that out publicly, that that's their personal belief. So anyway, that was just another connection. And she said, let's look for the good. You know, Sara talked about the positive words and that she heard about, and Krista also said the same thing. Look for the good. Let's teach and empower your children and your grandchildren. Train those eyes to look for the positive in a situation. And I think we know we can all look at a situation as the glass half empty or at half full. I'm sorry, I'm looking for an oil here. Oh, here it is. And let's really look and let's teach our children to do that. Let's grab some Believe oil as we're looking for that good, as we're mining those nuggets. And she gave, just some personal stories about her and her grandchildren. And I can't go into a lot, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but again, let's really think positively and do that expectation and believe that that's what we're building and that's what's going to continue to grow. So that's really, and I just took those words to heart. And she said, when you're looking, sitting down and working on your business, take a look at your downline. Run that report, your ER report. She said, and look at all those people who are every month purchasing and enjoying those Young Living products, and whatever that's bringing to their lives, the whatever continual health or abundance, or that this is something that they have found. Be grateful. So grab your, I keep grabbing forgiveness. I don't know why, same color. The gratitude. Well, it seems to be, it ran away. Grab your gratitude and just pray over that list and be thankful for all those people that you've been able to in some way help empower them to help themselves and to really have a fuller, richer life. Be grateful for them. And again, how can I help serve these people? Let's show that gratitude. Let's stay connected. It's all about relationships, and we can never forget that, because these products are for a purpose and not for a profit. So we're also then blessed to be able to make some money in the process. But what's our motivation? Our motivation is really that we're here to serve and to help others. So look at that ER list with gratitude. I loved that idea and ran my report, because I am so grateful to each and every person that's been able to benefit from Young Living. And how blessed am I to be a part of that, have been a large or a teeny part of that process. It's truly a blessing. And then she said, as far as getting back to the grandchildren, she said, courtesy and kindness begin at home. Let's establish good vibes. Here's some grounding. Let's diffuse that. Let's put it on the bottom of our feet, or the grandchildren's feet. Let's establish good vibes at home. And she said, basic manners go a long way. And I see that in school. I've been in the public school system many years, and it really does make a difference. And unfortunately, I'm seeing a downward trend in that. And we'll get into that in just a minute, because I don't want to take terribly long. But definitely spend that intentional time with the manners, with courtesy, with kindness. And of course, how do we teach that? We model it. We model it. We model it in our own life, in our interaction with those little people, because that's how they're going to learn it. And she talked a little bit about random acts of kindness and how fun it is to talk with kids about random act of kindness. Kids get so excited. They love to do stuff like that. And she said, and first she would just make sure that she did a random act of kindness with them. And then they talked about, how'd that make you feel? Wasn't that great? Didn't you feel like somebody really just went out of their way for no reason to do something really nice to me or really kind? And then intentionally plan how you can do some random acts of kindness with them. Talk about it, right? And she said, plan to expand and plan and act to do together. So again, that's when I pull out my gratitude and do that with gratitude with your children or grandchildren. And she made a mention of let's look at our children and ourselves as vessels of worth with words. I really loved that phrase, vessels of worth with words, because we do have that ability to then communicate and build relationships. And what are we pouring in that will then pour out? So again, with the gratitude, it just makes a big difference. I'm just so grateful for these oils and all they can do. And it's not like it changes your mind, but it supports those intentions and just helps that really become fulfilled in a great way in your life. She said, invest in the things that matter, the heart connections, really seeing our kids. And she said, when we see our kids, not just as I'm stirring a pot of soup and the phone is ringing and I've got somebody pulling on my shirt, Mimi, yes, honey, look at this. Yep, looks good. No, she said, really, if you can't attend at that moment, and you can't always attend at that moment, just a minute, Johnny, I hear you want my attention. I'm busy right now, but Mimi, I'll check that out in a minute. And then follow through. When you finish your soup or you turn it off and you turn the ringer off on the phone, get eye to eye level. Hear them. Listen to them. See them. And she said, children feel safe when they know that they are heard. And that's the heart connection. And if we build that into our children and into our grandchildren now, or whose ever life you're a significant adult in, that makes such a difference. The security that they realize that they are an important person too. They are a child of God. And then she talked a lot about languaging. I know Sara talked about it, so I'm going to kind of go a little quickly through it. She said, the first thing she said is she learned to upgrade her language from have to get to. So it's not, I have to watch my grandchildren. I get to watch my grandchildren. And I can just so resonate with that, how privileged are we that we are able to do different things, So it's not that I have to go to work every day at school and work with my students. I get to go to work every day and work with my students. And I see the difference that makes in their lives. So it's that shift. And one of the things I had prayed about coming into Diamond Bound is I knew I needed a freshness and a shift in my emotions and a shift in where I am. And it happened on several levels. And this just was one of them that just really spoke to me, the whole languaging. And now if I'm pulling out my geraniums, I just love my geranium. And she talked about every word matters. Every word we use matters. And geranium is wonderful for supporting positive speech and for disempowering negative speech and emotions. I love geranium. I love to wear it on my throat when I know I'm going to be having a difficult conversation or something's coming up. And it really makes such a big difference. And it's really good for my skin. Just say it. I put it in my VCs. Anyway, she said, every word matters. God created the universe and us with his words. And we are empowered to create things with our speech. She then explained Dr. Emoto and how he his water results when negative words were spoken over the water and the ice crystals and positive. Take a minute. This is something you can Google. Google it, check it out. It's an absolutely amazing story. So remember, every word matters. And when we mess up, what do? We go and we ask for forgiveness, right? And what a wonderful model that is for our kids. I'm so sorry. I yelled at you. I snapped. It was my fault. I was short-tempered. It had nothing to do with what you were doing or saying. If that was me who didn't have enough patience, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. So again, sometimes we need a little help with that, like Maureen said. Let's use these wonderful tools that we have. Let's use that forgiveness. Let's use that release. She talked then about the importance of physical touch and all the things that physical touch does. It transfers energy, it transfers love, it gives a sense of well-being to the receiver and to the person doing the touch. The oxytocin increase, the boost in your immune system. And she said, the best news, we have oils. So while you're sitting talking to one of the kids or your grandchildren about their day, do a little hand massage. She said, pull some lavender. How relaxing. She said, maybe use a little peace and calming. She said, why not? You might as well, let's use what we have while you're chatting. She said, how about just a little back rub, and just whatever oils you feel are appropriate to the moment. Just sprinkle them on your hand and just lightly as you rub their back as you're talking to them, Kids love that, don't we all love that? Our spouses love that. When was the last time, we did a hand massage, especially with oils and intention? Enough said about that. Anyway, communication. She said, communication is, yeah, I see you, Susie. Communication is, let's grab some clarity, especially if we're talking about our spouses. Let's, use these oils with intention. Communication is huge. Let's hear and let's listen. She said, and let's talk with our children and especially our grandchildren, because we do have that different, wonderful relationship than with our kids. Let's talk about our expectations and goals, their goals. And let's talk about how we believe in them. I love to use the grow oil, which I thought I grabbed, but I didn't, but it's green like this. Because we do have the time and the energy a little differently than when we were parents to invest that into our grandchildren. And it's a different relationship. So be aware of the impact that we can have with that. Grow and believe are good ones there. She talked about a study from the University of Michigan. Almost 14,000 students were studied over 30 years, and they looked at trends in empathy. And they found that, now this study is maybe 8 or 9 years old at this point, but at that point, college students today were about 40% lower in their empathy scoring than the counterparts of 20 to 30 years before that. And that's just such a sad statistic, and the impact that has on our society. The good news is that is something that we absolutely are shifting and changing now, as we're able to really connect with these little munchkins and connect with our adult children and connect with our kids, no matter what age they are, because we can speak that life over them, over ourselves and over our family. So, and over our businesses too. I mean, we just need to remember the importance of the power of speech. So that was, in a little succinct nutshell, some of what I got. It was an amazing, amazing event, and all kinds of good stuff besides that happened.
That's awesome, Ginny. And could you guys feel the passion? Could you feel her commitment to the way that she was sharing? Because it impacts her so deeply. Her family, her grandchildren. That's Ginny's foundation.
Yeah.
That and the Lord, right? And it all goes together. To be able to share that in a passionate way is what I urge you guys to think about as we're kind of moving through this diamond bound experience.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that sparks your passion enough that you want to talk to people about it? We all felt that in you, Ginny. So thank you for sharing that with us. So as we tap into our abundance mentality and we find our voice and we tap into our passion and we find a way to share that feels really good, for many of us, now what do we do to get unstuck? Like we're on our way. We're lifting our feet out of that mud. We're getting loose. We're getting unstuck. And Maureen's going to share with us what Jordan shared about her journey. And take it away, Maureen.
Yeah, well, everyone should know I start with valor.
Ooh.
So that gives me everything I need to feel good about, talking to the world and feeling balanced. And then something else I liked, it just makes sense with everything going on. And one of the things they talked about at this going to call it convention, uh, was being focused. And focus was such a key part of it, you know. So present time is a really good oil for that, right? So using a little present time. And I think everyone should do that on a regular basis. And it smells so lovely. So a lot of people, I'm sure in the room, along with me, were thinking, oh, getting unstuck, that sounds lovely. Let's do that, you know. It's so exciting because you think, oh, I have to do this. Well, keep in mind, it all starts with a decision, all right? So once you've made that decision, you've done like a ton of thought. You really are ready, okay? So make that decision that this is what you want to do. And then Jordan, one of the things she talks about is doing the heart work, you know? And if that means digging deep, it means caring, it means all those things, but it means doing it with kindness and attention and listening and patience. All right, so we're going to do that, but there are things we all want to do. We want to move forward. So I'm going to kind of try to summarize this as best I can so we don't keep too long here. But it's all about, if you want to get unstuck with your Young Living organization, say, or you want to get unstuck because maybe you're brand new and you just want to feel like, all right, what do I do? You know, either way, it's all about reconnecting, rebuilding, and refreshing your relationships, okay? Or connecting with new relationships and keeping that going and fostering that. So start wherever you are in your life and your Young Living life. Look at your people connections. And if you're brand new, you're not sure who they are or what that means, please talk to your sponsor or reach Upline. There's plenty of people that can help you. All right, there's people right here on this video that can help you. So when reaching out, make sure they understand that you care about them. You might want to say something like, you know, if you're giving a call or whatever it is, say, I care about you. And I want you to know, I want to know that you have the things that really can help you. All right. And very often I tell people, look, I'm not going to spend a lot of time making you want something you don't need, but I want you to have the things you do need. And that's important to me. And so we talk about Young Living in that way. Nurture your relationships from the heart. So one of the ways you can do that, when you're talking about printing out the essential rewards people in your organization, and you can maybe print out your personally enrolled people, maybe get some sort of list in front of you if you need to, okay? And look down in your organization. See who's been quiet for a while. Maybe you want to just say, hi, you know. Feel free, and please do have entire conversations that have nothing to do with Young Living, because when you do that, they understand they're important. And if you're listening, even more important. And I like what Ginny said for children, but it's so true for all people. People feel safe when they feel heard, you know? So children feel safe when they feel heard, but all of us feel safe when we feel heard. We feel like, oh, there's someone paying attention to me. They really are listening to me. And that's important for anything you're
valued, right?
Right. It creates that value. It creates trust. It's all the things we're really all about anyway. What good is Young Living if all those other things fall apart? All right. So start there. So contact those that are showing activity possibly, right? Ask them how things are going. And, you know, how can you help them? You know, you're frankly going to fill your time by meeting with people, possibly discussing a health plan with them, and literally helping them discover Young Living. All right. Keep in mind the key words here are help them. All right. Now, we all know that one of the main things, you can go back and you can come talk to me or anyone and get more detail. But number one, you're going to get people enrolled. Okay. And if you don't know how to do that, you want to learn how to do that. You want to get people ordering. All right. And that the enrolling part of people gets them engaged. You keep them engaged. And Jordan's one of her things, she says, get people ordering. you really got to get them to care. Like care about what? Care about the products, care about what they do, care about what they're going to get out of it, all of that. And the other part is get people sharing. All right. So ideally, we want to get people sharing as we share. All right. But there's ways of learning skills and so forth. And we'll talk about that another time. But I want to let you know those are three main things that your goals are while you're connecting to people, but mostly just get them engaged. All right. So if you do that, what we call one-on-ones, which you talk one-on-one over the phone, or you sit down with them at their house, whatever the case may be, or classes or online classes, on any type you want to do it on a regular basis, because it will help you to reconnect. All right. And when you're reconnecting, we're talking about with your organization or new people. So it depends if you're new. It depends if you have an organization even to look at. And most of us are really in between. We want to always meet new people. You know, that's always part of it. It never goes away. So literally, if you are new, literally everyone that you know could and should be introduced to the oils. Okay. After that initial phase, keep reconnecting with those people and start to build a relationship with and connect over the products. All right. And when you're there, also find out what motivates them. You know, there's some that love to help. So make sure you ask for help. If you're putting together an event, a small class, or even a home gathering, ask them if they would like to help. It's always fun to see how different people work together on the simplest things and bring out the best in each other. It makes it more fun. Do the micro work. All right. This is what she talks about. You're doing the heart work. You're doing the micro work, which is the second piece of this, okay? Once you build the relationships, you're connecting, you're reconnecting, you're doing this in every manner you can imagine, all right? And then you're thinking about all these words and turning them into action, rebuilding, refreshing, re-engaging, re-energizing. You're talking about essential rewards. You're teaching people about what that means. A good way to save money, a good way to get products, and adding value to their lives. Connect with the people who show an interest or show a passion and show some action. If you are brand new, that means literally everyone. After that phase, I read this part already. Sorry about that. So, yeah, here I did a double thing on here. That's not helpful.
It's so nice you said it twice.
Yeah, I said it twice. Twice. Not good. Not good. Oh my gosh.
It's good. It's so nice you said it twice.
Obviously needed to hear it twice.
So you want to create a fire. That's your goal, right? You want to build energy. You want to dig in. Okay, momentum work is something that you grab onto when you see others in your organization who are interested. So this is the phase 2. You do the heart work, you do some what they call the micro work, okay? And then you work number 2, momentum work. Momentum is good for all of us. It's for every single person who's ever done anything like this, sharing something that's important to us, all right? So grab onto those who are interested, try to share their own living or simply sharing the stories. Take the time to learn and use the skills and put it into action, okay? So there are skills that can be learned, and when you put them into action, it makes all the difference in the world. Now remember, momentum only happens when people are engaged, okay? So that's why we're talking about building a fire and building energy. Make it frictionless. That's one of Jordan's words, which I really like. It means making most things that, you know, are full action as simple as possible, okay? And here's some things you can do, and then try to make them frictionless, okay? Find out what your link is. That's a frictionless thing to do, right? Because if you find your link to connect into your office.
The enrollment link?
The enrollment link, thank you.
Okay.
Share it with them so they can do it themselves. Okay, so you may not have time beyond that. That may be all the time you have in the world. Find out what that link is so you can easily share it with them. All right. Something else you can do, a texting thread, just 2 or 3 people possibly. Let them know what's happening this week, okay, with Young Living. Let them know what's happening locally, possibly. Maybe a big event coming up, maybe something small, maybe something you're putting on. If there's more people you're ready to share start a different kind of thread, start a different conversation, and ask them to invite their friends. Now, we're talking about Facebook quite often, but it could be other ways: texting, email, calls, even regular mail, okay? Any way to reach out to someone you think that would be effective for that person, okay? Something else you can do: add people to Facebook groups that might be of interest to them. For instance, Young Living for Animals might be one of them, okay? I don't have the list right now, but there are quite a few different Facebook groups.
The WPA Way, that's a good one. We love us some WPA Way.
Our group is the WPA Way, and that's Suzanne's organization, and it's a great place for everyone to start who's just joined in. A lot of us have our own little groups. You might even have your own group. Make sure people are connected. If you don't add them and they're your friend on Facebook, then they don't get added and they miss everything. We don't want to do that. Or you feel the pressure to have to share everything, and instead they could be looking themselves. So much better. Do a Facebook Live talk about your favorite oil or something you're excited about. It does not have to be long. Very quick, very short, very beautifully short is the perfect way to do it, okay? Just enough to get people excited. If you can run a contest or a free giveaway, do something like that. Do something fun on Facebook, not only a drawing, but you can ask a question, you know, something that people can engage in. Again, keep them engaged, something to get them involved, all right? Don't be afraid. Again, ask for help, ask for help, ask for help, okay? In the beginning, Suzanne used to ask me for help. You say, Maureen, help me with this, help me with that. You know, in the beginning, I used to ask Ginny for help. Hey, Ginny, ask me for help. I need your help. I need your help. And Sara as well, I remember. So it's a great way to get people involved who are brand new and not quite sure what is expected of them. Okay, so they learn along the way, and you're teaching them just by having fun. Share your story with your connections. Share it from the heart. Be authentic. Okay, and now with whatever you do, be authentic. Then we've learned this from many leaders through time, and it comes up every single time that anyone starts talking about how they built their business or shared Young Living. If you're not authentic, no one will believe you. If you don't make mistakes like I do on a regular basis, no one will believe you. You're too perfect. They're going to think, I can't do this. This is too perfect. There's no way. If Ginny doesn't disappear from video, then I know I can't do this because I make mistakes on video all the time, you know. So anyway, you get the idea. Share the product. Don't be afraid to share a product with people. Bring product for them to try, send samples, just share in your home, whatever the case may be. Get those oils out and those products out and share. People love it and they love learning about it. And now when you're done with all your ideas, you could probably list 100 things to do here and ways to connect with people. Follow up. Follow up. After you've talked to someone, follow up when you're talking about an event, something coming up. Follow up. It's a key ingredient. Now, remember the goal is to get them engaged like you are, and when they want to talk with you, they might want to hang with you, okay? Then they might want to learn more about the oils or experience more oils, and they might want to work with you, and they certainly will want to grow with you. So building momentum includes relationships at its best and excitement and passion, okay? So if you are excited, and I am excited, I'm so excited about everything happening here. When you are excited, others get excited because it's contagious, all right? So don't be afraid when you're excited about something. I'll tell you all the reasons I'm excited in another video. Okay. So
it's true.
We're running out of time.
I know. So number 3, make a plan
for a meal in a minute if we don't
make a plan and run with it. This is why I hate being last. Make a plan and run with it. Okay. Jordan talked about a 90-day plan. You don't have to do that necessarily. She's talking to leaders. I'm going to talk about this a little bit differently. I'm shifting it a little bit to make it relatable and make it more real. It's really the same thing, just a little different. Okay. So, she was moving from Royal Crown to Royal Crown Diamond. Got to keep that in mind. So make a 1-month plan, all right? Fill your calendar with creative threads on Facebook. Fill your calendar. for instance, with creative threads on Facebook, or do Facebook Lives if you're trying to do this, possibly things like the Marco Polo app, or start talking to people more in any way you can imagine. All right. Challenge yourself to make a certain amount of phone calls or texts every day. Okay. If you meet your own challenge, it's kind of fun, actually. You know, if you really do sit down to
Get a
do
gold star, boom, right on your forehead.
Do classes, do one-on-one, do online classes, whatever makes you feel comfortable, do something. Okay. And the more you do it, the happier you'll be with yourself. Trust me. If you have your own Facebook group, make sure you're active in it. Something that I'm good at and bad at, so I'm working on that. If you like to write, then write notes and tell people you're glad they've embraced Young Living, or tell them you're happy for whatever is happening in their lives and be thankful. Again, if you're not authentic, they will know right away. The 1 month plan, from home events to Facebook giveaways, will build into the next month. So plan the next month once you get the first month rolling, okay? And then you can build to a 90-day plan, which is the goal. Because when you have 3 months going, it makes all the difference in the world. It will change everything, but you have to build on that. Ideally, a 90-day plan is high action and high energy with amazing results. And I have a little thing. If you can, do it with a friend, if at all possible, because it'll keep you motivated. And friends really work well together because they really do motivate each other, and everything is more fun that way.
Yeah.
So if there's someone that you're starting with or you would like to enroll, get them involved right away, because it's so much more fun with a friend. If you feel stuck, there's always more that you can do to get unstuck. Remember, relationship, re-engagement, action, and excitement, because all you need to start is to be willing. That's it.
That was so great, Maureen. Thank you so much, because this all just built upon everything. And I'm so happy with what you guys chose as your golden nuggets from this wonderful event to share with us, and to get us unstuck and get us moving and get us sharing and speaking our passion and thinking positively. And oh, I love this. I love this. So there were a few more nuggets, and this will be the end. I promise. I promise. There were a few more nuggets that really stuck out. Statements that people made during the course of the talks. Mary Young said that she often sits down with people and says, I don't care if you buy it or if you don't buy it, but I have to release this burden of knowing that I can help you. Is that amazing? How does that make you feel? Like, wow, please tell me. Please tell me, right? So I love that part of it. And a couple things that Lindsay Teague Moreno said. She said, and I love this, these products come with a little bit of a learning curve, and I'm here for you. And if I don't know the answer, I'll do my best to get you the answer. Love that, a little bit of a learning curve. So it's not like a quick and dirty thing. This is like, listen, let's settle in. Let's settle in and figure this out together.
I'm going to be rude. I have to go.
That's okay, Maureen. We appreciate what you did. I know you have somewhere to go, and we appreciate it.
I don't want to let other people down. It's not a fun thing.
She's volunteering at her church, so we're going to give you the blessing and say, go and be, and thank you for your input.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. And the other thing that Lindsay Teague Moreno said was, some of the oils are going to smell good and some won't. It's like Russian roulette. Let's open them up and let's go. I thought that was phenomenal too. And I think you have a great way of wrapping this fantastic recap up, Sara. And I think it's the words of Jordan Schrant.
Yes, it is. She made us a wonderful little booklet that we were able to use to take notes, and these were her closing remarks, and I thought they were really nice. Friend, go home and run with grit and grace. You can do this. You can balance. You can be the buffer. You can be bold and brave. Continue seeking wisdom, good counsel, and personal development for yourself. Be committed to the grit of serving others and the grace of sharing truth, speaking out, and being brave in the face of adversity. I believe in you. Love, Jordan.
I love Jordan. Thank you, Sara.
Thank you, Sara.
So here's the good news. They've announced when and where the next Diamond Bound will be. It will be September 25th to 27th, 2020 at the Gaylord in Grapevine, Texas. So we went to a convention there a couple years ago. It's a beautiful place. It's in September, so it's not going to be too wicked hot. And so I believe you can start buying tickets November 1st. I believe they go on sale, and they're selling them in bundles. So whoever's interested, let us know. Thank you for the time that you've spent with us today. I hope that you feel it was valuable and that you've got a place where you can just launch forward to share your love of these products, to help your friends, to help your family, and to change the world. So thank you, Ginny. Thank you, Sara. Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you,
And
Thank you,
you're
Suzanne.
welcome. It's been a joy. I love you guys, and I'm so happy to be on this journey with you.
Me
Have
too.
the best day, and if you need help, reach out. We're here for you.
That's right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.